We are an organization that wants to unify the whole of Africa, have one currency, have one parliament, have one president, and have one military command. Because the reason we are fragmented like this and we are defeated is because the enemy enjoys and thrives when we're divided. We are not a regional organization. We are an international organization.
I have always told you, as an African who I am, I have always believed that Africa unity is the best way to go. A united Africa is the best way to go, and it will bring more prosperity to Africa as a whole than what it is now. A divided Africa is Africa to fail. That is the truth. A divided Africa won't go anywhere. The white people who did that understood the power of one Africa, understood that if Africa stayed united, it's going to be very powerful. If Africa could have a common trading system, it's going to be very powerful. If Africa could have a common currency that we use for trading, we don't need to buy a dollar here and there. It's going to be very, very powerful. Just imagine, two countries in Africa want to trade with each other. They have to trade in dollar. Why? They all have to buy a dollar to trade. And when they buy a dollar, United States make money. They make money. So why can't we have our own common currency that we use for trading? If we have a common currency within Africa, we can use that for trading within ourselves, and that is going to benefit all of us. If we have a common import-export duty tariff for all African countries, it's going to encourage trading among ourselves. How can you imagine that a continent as huge as Africa doesn't have a significant trading power among themselves? How is that even possible? We trade more with the outside world than we trade among ourselves. That is why our economic power is as little as nothing. Let's watch this video with one of done by one of my most favorite person, Julius Malema of South Africa, a Pan-Africanist, someone who has always been championing the Africa unity cause. Let's hear what he had to say.
They are threatened by African unity because the unity of African people will mean they are equal to China, they are equal to India, they are equal to Russia, they are equal to Britain. We are an organization that wants to unify the whole of Africa, have one currency, have one parliament, have one president, and have one military command. Because the reason we are fragmented like this and we are defeated is because the enemy enjoys and thrives when we are divided. We are not a regional organization. We are an international organization. When we go everywhere in the continent, the people come out in their numbers to come and receive the message of the EFF because we're an international organization. That's why when we sing Nkosi Sikelele Africa, there where we say Morena Boloka, you say South Africa, and we insist yes, now we insist Africa. There's no South Africa in Nkosi Sikelele that we sing. There's Africa. Because there is no place called South Africa. South Africa is a geographical concept which seeks to give you direction. It's not a name of a place. We are in Africa. So once you say Africa, You don't have to add anything before. You have covered everything, including this side of the south of Africa. Because we're an international organization.
I love Julius Malema because I think that he says it as it is. And he has always been very consistent with his preaching or with his advocating for a common currency for Africa. Why are our leaders not pushing forth with this? And I understand there are some few leaders in Africa who are for it. I think I heard William Ruto said the same thing, that a common currency, a common market for Africa is going to be a great thing for all of us, the Africans. I think I heard President Paul Kagame also said the same thing. A few African leaders have said this, that it's good if Africa could unite. And I think even Professor P.L.O. Lumumba has also said this, that a unified Africa would be the best. But do you know something? The outsiders won't want it to happen. The Europeans and the Americans won't want it to happen. And since they have a lot of puppet leaders in Africa who are there to do their bidding, those leaders will never go along with this. No matter how much we sing it, those leaders would always drag us back. They will never. Especially in French-speaking countries in Africa. France has got a lot of puppet leaders in those countries, and the leaders of those countries will never ever sign for a unified Africa. They won't. No matter if it's going to benefit Africa as a whole, no matter if it's going to benefit the children of Africa, they won't sign in. Do you know why? Because those leaders in those countries are not there to serve the people, are not there to serve Africa. They are there to serve themselves and their puppet masters. That's just the reason they are there. That's just the reason they have been there. That is just the only reason they are occupying those offices they are occupying. Just to serve their puppet masters and themselves. That is it. That is why whenever this whole thing about African unity is brought forward, they will look for a way to just squash it. They won't want to entertain it. That is why you saw that the whole idea of a common passport for Africa squash. Common currency for Africa, no one is talking about it. Common market for Africa, no one talks about it. African parliament, no one talks about it. All the greedy and selfish leaders in Africa rather would have their countries the way it is. Because after all, they are squeezing the country dry. They are stealing everything from the country. So why would they care if the country is good or not? They have embezzled so much from the country. They have done things with little to any accountability. So why should they champion a unified Africa? Why? But you guys out there, what is your take on the whole idea of a unified Africa? Do you think it's something that is going to benefit us, the African people, or not? And do you think that this concept is ever going to be achievable? Share that thought and opinions with us in the comment section below. Because like always, we love hearing what you have to say. Please do not forget to like this video, share this video, subscribe to this channel because that helps us a lot and we shall forever be grateful to you. So thank you very much for doing just that. And like always, see you in the next one.